In the ever-shifting landscape of American politics, one name has been making waves far beyond courtrooms, beyond legal circles, and even beyond the Indian-American diaspora. That name is Neal Katyal. Today, we dive deep into who he is, why his story matters, and how his ongoing legal battles against Donald Trump could reshape not just American law, but also global politics. For many, Katyal is not just a lawyer. He's a phenomenon, a voice of reason in a storm of chaos, a legal eagle who has stood firm when democratic values were tested, and a proud Indian American who has carried his roots with him while standing at the pinnacle of U.S. law. But let's start from the beginning. Neal Katyal was born in Chicago to immigrant parents from India. His father was a pediatrician, his mother a pathologist, both embodying the American dream of education, hard work, and perseverance. From a young age, Katyal showed brilliance, excelling in academics, eventually finding his way to the prestigious Yale University and later to law school at Yale as well. His journey wasn't just about textbooks and lectures. It was about shaping a worldview that blended his Indian heritage with American constitutional values. Over the years, Neal Katyal built a career as one of the most formidable legal minds in America. He served as acting Solicitor General of the United States under President Barack Obama, representing the federal government in front of the Supreme Court. Few lawyers can boast of such an honor. And fewer still have argued more than 40 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court. Yes, you heard that right. Over 40 times. Katyal has stood in that hallowed chamber and made his case to the most powerful judges in the land. What sets him apart is not just his skill with words, but his clarity, his charisma, and his ability to frame arguments in ways that resonate not just legally, but morally. He has represented both Democratic and Republican administrations, defended immigrants, stood for civil liberties, and fought for checks and balances on executive power. And it is precisely this last point that has brought him to the center stage once again. As Donald Trump faces mounting legal challenges, from election interference cases to questions of presidential immunity, from classified documents, scandals to broader constitutional questions, Neal Katyal has emerged as one of the fiercest critics of Trump's legal defense strategies. He has consistently argued that no man, not even a president, is above the law. His eloquence on television, whether on MSNBC, CNN, or in op-eds, has made him a household name for millions of Americans. He's not just a lawyer fighting in the courts. He's become a public intellectual, educating citizens about why these cases matter. When Trump's lawyers argue that a former president should be immune from prosecution, Neal Katyal dismantles that claim with precision. He points out that immunity was never meant to shield presidents from accountability, and that to allow such a precedent would be to invite authoritarianism. His sharp legal mind cuts through political noise and gets to the heart of the matter. The rule of law must stand. For the Indian American community, Neal Katyal represents something even deeper. He is the embodiment of immigrant success, the child of Indian parents who came with hope, and who now stands as one of the most influential legal figures in America. His rise is a story of representation of how Indian Americans are not just doctors and engineers, but also thought leaders, lawyers, and defenders of democracy itself. What makes his battles against Trump particularly significant is the timing. America is deeply divided, with institutions under stress and politics increasingly polarized. In this climate, the role of lawyers like Neal Katyal is monumental. Every case he argues, every legal point he makes, is not just about Trump, but about the future of American democracy. Let's talk about one of his most impactful appearances. When the issue of whether Trump could be disqualified from running again due to his alleged role in the January 6th insurrection came before the courts, Katyal's commentary was razor-sharp. He explained that democracy depends on accountability, and that if leaders can act without consequence, democracy becomes a hollow word. Millions of viewers, both in America and abroad, watched and shared his arguments. Because they were not just about legal technicalities, they were about values that matter to every free society. But beyond Trump, Neal Katyal's career is filled with remarkable milestones. He successfully defended the Affordable Care Act, helped protect voting rights, and is taught at Georgetown University, inspiring the next generation of lawyers. His legal philosophy blends pragmatism with principle, always keeping in mind that the law is not just about rules, but about people, fairness, and justice. It's no surprise then that Neal Katyal has become somewhat of a celebrity lawyer. His social media presence is strong, his interviews are viral, and his influence continues to grow. But unlike many others, he uses his platform not for self-promotion, but to elevate understanding of constitutional democracy. As we look at the unfolding battles between Trump and the legal system, Neal Katyal's role cannot be overstated. He is not a partisan attack dog. He has in fact worked with Republicans in the past. Instead, he stands as a guardian of constitutional integrity. That's why even those who disagree with him respect his arguments, because they are rooted in deep legal knowledge and ethical conviction. In many ways, Neal Katyal represents the best of both worlds, the precision and rigor of American constitutional law, and the resilience and ambition of the Indian spirit. His story is inspiring not just to lawyers, not just to Indian Americans, but to anyone who believes in the power of justice. So, as Donald Trump continues to fight his many court battles, expect to hear the name Neal Katyal again and again. Because in this fight, the courtroom is not just about Trump versus prosecutors. It is about democracy versus authoritarianism. It is about law versus power. And it is about whether America can still be the beacon of justice it claims to be. The world is watching. From Washington to New Delhi, from Brussels to Beijing, every development in Trump's cases is followed closely. And in the middle of it, lawyers like Neal Katyal carry the heavy responsibility of reminding us all that truth matters, that justice matters, and that democracy cannot survive without accountability. When future generations look back at this moment in history, they will see not just a president on trial, but a nation being tested. And they will also see the role of individuals like Neal Katyal, who stood tall, argued fearlessly, and reminded America and the world that no one is above the law.